Pacquiao retains his version of the WBA, but where does he fit in the crowded welterweight division? We answer that next. Please like and subscribe, leave us a comment, help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Sunday Morning Champion. Wow, what a fight, sort of, by Manny Pacquiao. Dominated Adrian Broner, clear-cut, unanimous decision winner. Pacquiao, you could argue, won every round. We'll get into that. We had it 117-110. I scored the 8th round 10-8, in case you're wondering how I got 117-110 as opposed to 117-111. I gave the 4th, the 10th, and the 11th to Adrian Broner. So that's 4, 10, and 11. He probably didn't win the 11, but it was close, so I just gave him the close round. So I gave him 3 rounds, 4, 10, 11. I gave everything else to Pacquiao, including the 8th, which I gave 10-8 Manny Pacquiao when he had him in a world of trouble. I saw none of the judges gave him 10-8. I was wondering if they were going to. I thought he did enough. He had him in trouble a couple times, wobbled them, had AB holding on for dear life to get through the round. But kudos to AB. And I'm going to bash AB quite a bit in this episode, so I want to give him his credit. He hung tough. He fought hard. He took a heck of a shot. He was in trouble, but he held on. He hung tough, and he got through. And he got through 12 one-sided rounds. We lost every round, pretty much. You know, like I said, you could make a case for him in a couple of those rounds, but it wasn't close, and he was outgunned badly. But he hung tough. Maybe that was because he thought he won, and I want to get into that. Broner thinks he won. This is truly astonishing. He landed nothing. And look, a lot of times fighters know that they didn't win and they act as if they won. You know, Broner, I think if you put Broner up to a lie detector test and you asked him, do you think you won that fight? He would say yes, and he'd be telling the truth. You know, no lie detector. He thinks he won that fight. Which blows my mind. It's truly astonishing. And I've heard some people defend this, that they think Broner won. He did nothing. He landed 50 punches. That's 4 punches a round. I mean, you can count the number of effective shots he landed in all 12 rounds on one hand. He never picked up his pace. He was hurt numerous times. He acknowledged that he was hurt several times and offered no resistance. Again, he hung tough. He hung in there for all 12 rounds. And I said to my wife, who's watching the fight with me, in that 8th round, he's not going to make it through his fight. He's going to get knocked out in 10 or 11. And he hung tough and he made it through. I wasn't expecting him to do that. But he didn't win. He didn't do anything. He did absolutely nothing. And I was looking to score rounds for Broner, and I'll get into that. Look, a lot of Pacquiao's aggression wasn't effective. So I'm like, okay, if Broner can land some clean shots here, that's going to negate Pacquiao's aggression, and I'm going to score around for Broner if he can land some clean shots. He couldn't. He didn't land anything. He didn't even try to land anything. He didn't throw anything. He was outmanned. He was outgunned. And I want to get into Kevin Cunningham. Because after the 11th round, AB went back to the corner and asked Kevin Cunningham. He said, I won that round, right? I won that round. And Cunningham nodded and told me he won that round. Who cares? You've lost every round since. You're desperately behind on the scorecard. Winning rounds is irrelevant at this point. It's completely irrelevant. Well, what is winning a round going to do for you? You've lost the fight. You know, it's like being down 60 points at halftime and then cutting the lead to 59 at the end of 3 and saying, we won that quarter. Who cares that you won the quarter? You're desperately behind. You know, in boxing, it's the great equalizer. Go knock the guy out. And there was no sense of urgency. At no point did I hear, and if you did, let me know. I'll go back and watch the fight. I have it recorded. I have it saved. I can go back and watch it. Show me where Kevin Cunningham said, son, listen to me. You need to pick it up. You need to score a knockout. You've lost every round. Because that's what Kevin Cunningham needed to tell him. Not, yeah, I think you won that round. Not you need to pick up the work rate. You need to be first. You need to straight right hand. No. You need to go in for the knockout. Guns blazing, son. You got the power. You need to put that pressure on him. You need to take him out. You've lost every round. Winning this fight on the cards, out the window. Not going to happen. You need to go for a knockout. Where was that? Right? And I like Kevin Cunningham. But, and I want to be serious in this too. I think Kevin Cunningham thought that Broner was in the fight on the scorecards. Which is, I mean, Broner thinking he did competitive in that fight or winning that fight is astonishing. Kevin Cunningham, the brains of the outfit, thinking that he was in that fight, I don't even. And I like Kevin Cunningham, but that's not even comprehensible. How Kevin Cunningham, and I think if you put Kevin Cunningham on a lie detector test and said, do you think Broner was competitive in that fight, and that the issue was in doubt going into the last round, in which Broner played safe and landed one punch. If you ask Cunningham, was that fight competitive and in doubt going into that 12th round? Kevin Cunningham would say yes. He thought the fight was competitive and close and in doubt in that last round. And I think he would be telling the truth. And that's amazing, right? Because I think he honestly believes that, right? Like, not that he's right, because obviously he wasn't, but I think in Kevin Cunningham's mind, somehow, was for reasons unknown, he thought Adrian Broner was in that fight. Broner really thought he won the fight. He's jumping up on the ropes. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you didn't win any of these rounds. You didn't even try to win the rounds. And Broner says, I thought he boxed well. Boxed well how? Not get knocked out? It's like, did Josh Clottey box well against Manny Pacquiao back in, what is that, 2010? I mean, this is ridiculous at this point. He got dominated. And at no point was there any urgency to pick it up. Look, as far as Pacquiao's performance, couple of things. I was very impressed with Manny Pacquiao and not so impressed, all at the same time. We'll get into that. First off, steroids, hell of a drug. Steroids are a hell of a drug. Steroids are one hell of a drug. Pacquiao, through the first 9 rounds, looked like he was still in his early 30s. He looked as good in this fight as he did, say, against Bam Bam Rios, was that 6 years ago? He looked young. He was clearly juiced up, which is good for him. His punch output was fantastic in the first bunch of rounds, 8, 9 rounds. He just couldn't carry it into the later rounds, into the end rounds. The 10th, 11th, the 12th, he saw his punch output drop, especially when he really went for it there in the 8th round. And I like what he did. He had Broner hurt. He knew he wasn't landing. Broner wasn't landing a ton of clean shots on Broner. Broner played defensively and didn't get hit a ton. So when he hurt Broner, he jumped on him and started throwing wild combinations, which is good. Forced the ref to act. Like, if Broner was just going to cover up and Pacquiao was going to unleash a whirlwind of punches on him, the ref has to step in and stop the fight. If Broner's just going to stand there with his guard up and not fire back. And that's what Pacquiao did. You saw him just start unleashing lefts and rights. But Broner played smart. He tied up and made it through the round. So kudos to him on that. And then after that, Pacquiao looked a little tired, looked a little shy. He is 40. And remember, this is important. People don't get better at the age of 40. They don't get better at the age of 40. They get worse. Pacquiao looked better last night than he did in years. Let that sink in. Just think about that. How is that humanly possible? Because it's not. Right? It's like when you see statistics that women are better drivers than men. How can that be when it's obviously wrong? Alright? Like, it can't be true. So how can that be true when it's obviously false? How can Pacquiao get better at 40 than he was at 35? He can't. That's impossible. It is impossible. Unless, of course, you're on steroids. Then, as we saw with Barry Bonds, impossible is nothing. And I also want to get into how he didn't look so good, right? Look, he came in, and I'm, for one, have always thought Manny Pacquiao was never as good as advertised. He was a fun offensive fighter who had a great career, but if you start calling Manny Pacquiao one of the top 10 fighters or 15 fighters or 20 fighters of all time, I don't agree with that. I thought he was matched really well. I think if you put him in the ring with a master boxer, he's not going to look so good like Marquez. He's not going to look so good against Bradley. Things like that. Again, much of Pacquiao's aggression wasn't effective. He missed a lot. But I thought this was always the case. And I scored Bradley 1, the one that everyone thought was a robbery. I scored it 6 rounds to 6. There were a bunch of close rounds, so I could have went either way. I scored the 1st, 2nd, 6th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So if you're gonna quiz me on this, those are the rounds I scored for Bradley. Not that I just said I thought it was close. Those are the actual rounds I scored for Bradley. 1, 2, 6, 10, 11, and 12. 6 rounds to 6. And it's the same thing. Pac was a whirlwind of punches just like he was last night. And had Broner landed anything in return, I could have scored some of those rounds for him. Like Bradley did. Bradley landed something in return while Pacquiao was missing wildly. If you're a good athlete and you move Pac's going to struggle with you. If you're Brandon Rios, if you're Antonio Margarito, and you just come forward, if you're Ricky Hatton and you just come forward, you're a field day for Manny Pacquiao. If you move laterally, if you aren't a stationary sitting duck, you're in trouble. You can give him trouble. You can give Manny Pacquiao trouble. And Broner did that. He just didn't. He made it miss a lot. He just didn't give him any. He didn't offer anything back. You know what I'm saying? So whatever Pacquiao landed, which in some rounds wasn't a whole lot, was certainly more and cleaner and better than the nothing Broner landed. I've never seen a guy not pick it up in a fight like this. Broner's like, I'm going to be a star overnight. I'm going to be a legend overnight. Then fight like it. But he didn't. But yeah, I thought a lot of his aggression was ineffective. If Broner would have done something like Bradley did enough of the rounds, in my opinion, to take 6 rounds, Broner didn't. He didn't offer anything up. He didn't counter. He didn't land. He didn't do much. He just kept his hands in his pocket. He kept the high guard up. And again, I was looking to give Broner rounds. I said, look, a lot of this aggression isn't clean. It's not effective. If Broner lands a few counter shots, if he lands a couple of right hands, a couple lead left hooks, I can score these rounds for Broner, but he didn't. And so this is coming from someone, not a Broner hater, someone who was openly looking to score rounds for Broner. It just didn't happen. So, look, Pacquiao looked good. He looked like the Pacquiao of a few years ago. He didn't look 40. He did a lot of things well. I just think that Pacquiao is beatable by a master boxer. Now, that being said, where do I rank Pacquiao in the crowded 147-pound division? And I don't know if you guys are going to be surprised by this because the division is loaded and crowded. I have him as the 3rd best welterweight in the world. There's still enough juice left in the needle. Gas left in the tank. He can still get it done. I rank Bud Crawford at number 1, Spence at number 2, Pacquiao at number 3. And we will see Keith Thurman next week. We will learn more. We won't actually, what am I saying? We won't learn more, really, as much, because he's fighting Josecito Lopez. But we'll see Thurman back, and that'll be good to have Keith Thurman back. So I have, right now, Keith Thurman, who fights next week, at number 4, Porter at number 5, Ugas at number 6, Garcia at number 7. Am I saying that right? Right. Thurman at 4, Porter at 5, Ugas at 6, Kell Brook at 7, and Garcia at 8. So I just run that top 8 again because I know they got confusing. So here are my top 8 welterweights. Number 1, Bud. Number 2, Spence. Number 3, Pacquiao. Number 4, Thurman. Number 5, Sean Porter. Number 6, Ugas. Number 7, Kell Brook. And I'm going to call Kell Brook a welterweight. Number 8, Danny Garcia. Then 9 and 10, it gets real interesting. Amir Khan, Jamal James. There's a bunch of names you can throw up in those spots. But I'm going to cut off there. I cut off at 8. So Pacquiao is well in the mix. And it's going to be interesting because I don't think that Mayweather fight's going to happen next. I don't. I'll get into that real quickly. So it's interesting to see who he fights next. I'm thinking Keith Thurman or Errol Spence. I really, really do. I don't know who. I don't know which one of those two. But I do think it's going to be either Keith Thurman or Errol Spence. Could be Porter, but I don't think so. We will see who it is. But I think if you were to ask me right now who I think Pacquiao fights in the summer, it's going to be one of those two guys. And the Mayweather thing, I don't think it's going to happen for a couple of reasons. I think Pacquiao looked a little bit too good, a little bit too young. I think Mayweather looked at him and said, nah, there's too much spring left in those legs. And my 0 is really, really important to me. So, I don't think that fight's going to happen. I think Mayweather's 0 is a little bit too important to him. Again, he'd make over $100 million likely for a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. But I think his 0 is actually worth more to him than the $100 million. We know that is his. That's his baby. His 0 is his baby. I mean, I don't really care if a fighter wins. I mean, if a fighter loses it all, it's irrelevant to me. Muhammad Ali lost. Sugar Ray Robinson lost. It doesn't matter to me that a fighter's undefeated. Joe Calzaghe didn't lose. Sven Atke didn't lose. So there are other fighters who didn't lose, and all of them are, not as good as Sugar Ray Robinson. So the 0 to me is irrelevant, but to Floyd Mayweather, it means a heck of a lot. So I don't expect that fight to happen again. But like I said, Pacquiao is with PBC, and there's some options for him there. And I think you're going to get either Spence or Thurman, which would be a big fight. And for Broner, again, Broner is still a draw. And he said this, and people will still come out and see him. And I think Broner said, and I did a video back on this a while ago, if Broner can make 135, I think he can get back to a championship level at 135. He said he can get back to 135. He said that in an interview. He had no problem making weight. He said, you're talking to a guy who can still make 135. If that's true, he needs to do that because it ain't at 47 and it ain't at 40. If he can get down to 35, there are some interesting fights there, and he can sell and he can draw because he would have tremendous power and tremendous size at 135. You know, I would like to see him fight at either 35 or 40. Have him fight Linares. Who do you guys think wins that fight? But I like watching Broner. It's nothing personal, nothing against Broner. But obviously at 40 and 47, he doesn't have what it takes. But at 35, he was real good at 30 and 35. So let's see. If he can seriously make 35, then I'm all for it. I think he can make a run at that division. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. You know, let me know what you think about Broner going back down to 35. Where you think Pacquiao fits in the welterweight division. You know, what you think of my rankings. Thoughts, comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe. For Sunday Morning Champion, this is 3D Boxing signing off, saying thank you and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.